writing right now is about how I feel.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
Well, we're on.
Yeah, we're on. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the episode 4 of the So 2000 and Late Show. I'm Matthew Scott. This is Brad Bishop. And this is Betsaida Santiago. We're back again. After Browns lost tonight, we're just going to bring you our spooky episode that we're excited to talk about Haunted Ohio, our great state of heart of it all.
Tis the season, right?
Tis the season. Pumpkin spice and all that shit.
Oh, we are allowed to say that?
Sugar, spice, and all that shit. Yeah. So what's up? What's up, everybody?
Are we sponsored this week? Did the confections people?
Yeah. Go
still?
Check out Clucas Confections. That's CLUCAS Confections at yahoo.com. And we've got a new supporter this week. Thank you to Typical Sportsbook. Place your bets with Typical Sportsbook. They may not be liquid to pay you out right away, but if you hit them up in their customer service, they'll do it eventually. They'll also set you up with your first free bets that odds probably will be more with the house. Let's be honest. No, Typical Sportsbook is our schmonzer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a fake commercial that I came up with. Yeah.
Okay. I used to do the same thing. So I totally understand.
Yeah.
Very good.
You may have planted that seed. Because,
but you know what? That could totally be a real thing because like gamblers will gamble no matter what.
So I told my buddy that joke, and he didn't realize that I was talking about Tipico.
Okay.
And I said typical, like, your typical sportsbook app. And he was like, oh, that's even funnier. Because he's like, oh, like MGM. And I was like, yeah. Or like, I hear commercials for Tipico, but I don't think they're in Ohio.
Okay.
So, yeah. So you are in a house, right? Did you hand out candy?
No. 2 kids showed up in ghillie suits tonight without bags or anything. And they didn't even say trick or treat. They just like knocked on my door and I swung the door open and I'm like, what's up, bushes? I know I haven't mowed my lawn in like 3 weeks, but it's not that bad.
But this is out of hand. Yeah.
Yeah. And I live hood adjacent in Stark County anyway. So no, I don't ever give out candy.
Oh, I love that tradition. I am not from here in my country. I don't think Latin American had that tradition, not even close. When I see this tradition from here, I love it. And especially trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Sounds the same thing. But nobody do tricks or
the tricks are getting kind of extreme.
Nobody do that anymore, right? You just trick or treat, and no kids say that anymore.
Yeah. I noticed this year that they're doing a lot of these trunk or treats where they'll gather in parking lots and like 25 cars will sit with their trunks faced inward, and then the kids will trick or treat in that community of cars. So they're not having to go through all the neighborhoods and stuff, which made it a lot easier for me to disperse all my razor blades out in the candy.
But no, the tradition.
Inflation.
Yes, but it's important to follow the tradition because our ancestor do that for a reason, and the reason was important and was religious. They call it pagan.
Yeah.
But was the way the world works in the time before the Rome invade everybody, the world, and was the way the culture worked. So I like tradition. I like step. I like everything about Halloween. It's so amazing. I love costume. Even
Brad's family's been doing the razor blades and the candy for how many generations?
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
that's
like I said, inflation. I mean, you have to buy the razor blades throughout the year and then store.
She's not right here with the. She's not picking up on the razor blades.
Oh, okay. I kind of.
I always thought it was funny when people would warn about that or drugs in the candy. Listen, as a fan of drugs myself, I'm not giving them away.
Razor blade, right?
At least,
yeah.
Oh my gosh!
At least,
I didn't get it.
At least 5 hours of pay is devoted to just drugs.
Oh my!
So I'm not giving them away. My kids definitely ain't getting any. So, and they know the dad tax too. Any Kit Kats and drugs they find are mine.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Parents are
I have a
taxing.
friend. He will give you away candies, pass candies.
Pass out.
Pass out candies. Also shots for the father.
Like you almost did last night.
Oh.
You almost passed out last night.
From shots.
Ooh, yeah,
she
from
said her friend
shots.
gives shots. You're talking about passing out from shots.
Yeah.
No, I don't pass it. I wasn't that wrong way.
And then pretty soon we're gonna talk about how I was
You
shot
said
today.
There?
Yeah, you were.
I wasn't passing out. I just had 2 shots.
No, so yesterday for the listeners, we went to Tropical Cleveland. Amazing put together event.
Yes, very beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was at the end of the pier on East 9th. And so we had the Good Time 3 boat just out off the deck, the patio of this place. And you've got the buildings, the Cleveland buildings, as you know, as
The scenery is beautiful.
amazing as
Yeah.
they can be. Yeah.
The background is beautiful.
It's definitely a city.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a city. Yeah.
Yes, and
So-
it was well done.
What is Tropical Cleveland?
It's a Latin American organization who make Latin American parties because we don't have Latin American club to go to.
Okay.
So they take the parties to different places. In this time, it's en Nuevo.
Oh, Nuevo.
We are advertising you guys for free. So and Nuevo, nine is nine. And the party yesterday, everybody was dressed like the costume looked like very expensive, very beautifully.
It was advanced
it was
level costuming.
The most beautiful costume party I ever went, and they have how can I say, they have prizes for the best costume.
I think
everything.
they pulled some people to the side and they said, "Hey, we want you to be in the costume contest," and then they did some.
So like best his and best
Can you
hers.
believe me? Nobody asked me.
Best couples.
I was so original.
It's because they're
Dark
intimidated.
Leia.
It's because they're intimidated.
Okay, thank you.
That's what it is.
Thank you.
I was really impressed. And then it was like all through the night, I just kept seeing more and more and more costumes, different costumes.
Yeah.
The only one that was repeated, there was a group of 5 or 6 people that were all cops.
Mhm.
And then they actually arrested me. So then that got me thinking that maybe they weren't pretend.
Talk about going a little deep.
Yeah. They took it very seriously.
Back
Yeah.
off, D average student. Why don't you go
Yeah.
write some tickets?
And he was who you were?
I was Bugs Funny.
Bugs Bunny.
Okay.
I had a light up basketball and I had bunny ears on and I had my Toon Squad Space Jam
was very
jersey
nice.
on.
Okay.
I was a little bit like upset with him before I see him. But when I see him, I laugh and I like it. He's supposed to be Dark Anakin, like when Anakin becomes to
Okay.
the dark side.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, that doesn't fit me. That
that wasn't
complain."
even. I was
Like-
I was cool with that. I was like, I have my own cape. I'll fit this smaller vest on and stuff. But
He says smaller.
I think
L, what's that? Large? What? You are not even large,
I'm
sweetheart.
an extra large.
You
Oh,
are
yeah.
no extra
Oh
large.
yeah, I'll show you guys later.
What?
He's
Why you will
thick,
show me later?
He's trying to say
You
he's thick.
extra large. Why?
Oh, we made all the sexual references on the dance floor last night. It was ridiculous.
It was.
Oh, it was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
So much fun.
Next year, please.
I'd be down. I'm from Florida, so I understand like all of the. I would go to like some breakfast places.
Bring your girlfriend. You guys will have a lot of fun. But come as a Star Wars character because I was the only one. I found one guy and then, right?
Yeah. The guy that I showed you the picture, he had.
I don't remember what character. I know it's in Ahsoka, I think.
I was telling girls there that Lola Bunny got hit by a car. You know, so that's why I was there alone. I didn't see another Lola Bunny until I got to the strip club. They were dressed up like there was a girl dressed like a bunny there. So
yes, just one, right?
Just one.
I was a vampire, very pretty girl.
There was one that said, "Oh, I was dressed like a bunny earlier," and then one later that came up that was dressed like a bunny. I was like, did you just go and put that outfit on? Because I've been here for a while already.
See, my last strip club experience went horribly south because one of the stripping ladies showed up with these shots and she goes, "Hey, does anybody want a Ninja Turtle shot?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you can name all the Ninja Turtles." Yeah. I'm a nerd. And she's like, "Just buy the fucking shots." And I'm like, "Just name the fucking Ninja Turtles."
Oh my God. Just Donatello, Raphael,
two more. Well, technically two more.
2 out of 4 is failing.
Yes. I know they are artists, all of them.
Yeah. Michelangelo.
Michelangelo.
Leonardo. And then there's another one. Supposedly there's a fifth, a girl, but she is never really canon until recently.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. You've generated some interest here, but let me talk about the costumes and the costume party a little bit more. It was I get to talking to people and I find out everybody there is like 40 plus. And my buddy that we also went with, I think there were a fair amount of young-ish people there also.
It was 20-ish.
But I think the median age was closer to my age.
In a majority Latin crowd, you're not going to be able to tell how old any of them are.
That's true too.
No,
that's true too.
We don't show.
You age very well.
And, we don't say it. Yep. We fake it.
I thought that was a Young Wives' Tale. That they lied about that shit.
No.
We do. Because it's implying our culture. The women never say their age.
Politeness, gentleman thing.
Yes, and men never. I meet this gentleman was my professor father. We got it in and they was married for 56 years, and he told us the group that he don't know the age of his wife. For 56 years old.
Oh my God.
I said, what about? They said, no, that she had young. I don't know how she get it, but it's younger, but she never tell me her age. I said, what? Yes, that's serious in Latin America.
Old enough.
And I can tell you this. I don't supposed to speak that much, but in Latin American culture, is age is related with experience, and but more sexual experience. Yeah. So more year you have, more experience you have, so you are less likely find a matching partner if you had that much experience, because the guy wanted to teach you things, and if you know that much, you are the one who will teach them, and that is kind of.
I think
part of them.
She's got a ton of experience because I think she used to work. She used to work at this club, serving and stuff.
Yes.
But the other thing was, I'm like a shy guy at the strip club. Like that's not my scene.
But
and she's like, Go on, get in there, get it on.
But I also told the girls too. I said, hey, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
very good with people, girl, guy, younger, older. Like
So girls had asked me to dance at this thing, which is awesome. I was like, that is
even in
so
tropical Cleveland,
cool.
girls ask you.
Yeah, no, I don't mean the club,
but see,
I meant the party.
Okay.
Typically, that's the difference between a male angle and a female angle. Is she is looking open-ended and for the overall of the night. Typical dudes are looking for closing scenarios.
Wow.
So that's why tend to be more shy.
Wow, Brad, you nailed it.
And wow. See,
that's why.
I've never had that problem when it comes to somebody ridiculously more attractive than I am. Like, because I already know there's no chance. So I'll swing for the fences with anybody that gets there. It's the ones that are like, or it's the point where it becomes achievable. Like my current situation, I swung for the fences immediately because there was no chance. And then it turns out she's just as weird as I am. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I should be nervous. And I got nervous a little bit.
Yeah. That's to be expected. Yeah.
Okay,
so the club last night was awesome. The Tropical Cleveland, thank you so much for throwing such an awesome party. Nuevo for having them and having us. And and then the strip club afterwards was fun.
It was
fun.
Anyways,
it was a very busy weekend. Fun week. Just every week is grueling. So we're going to talk about some haunted, spooky, just really scary, real places and people in Ohio that we've done some research on. And we're going to first talk about the origins of Halloween. And Betseda?
Yes, I will read in this occasion, this time, because I don't want to say sounds like because my not too confident.
Can we just take that and just make that the intro sound? The intro to the show.
Okay, okay.
Somebody will make a beat out of it.
The tradition of Halloween started as people gathering in Celtic, that will be Ireland, but all Celtic, how can let me read. I start to say, okay, I will say,
I don't know this word.
Does some of a prophecy speaking priest commemorate? No, this now. Let me read that. Let's see this. How Halloween become an American holiday. The Halloween that we know today is result of the great American immigrant melting pot. At first, celebrations were pretty limited for colonial England, New England, and Puritans. And then become, he said, New England, Britain, aboard with the holiday pagan roots. Pagan, everybody know who's pagan. Pagan, can you explain a little bit?
I mean, I can explain like the roots or the origin of it, but it's more of a spiritual religion based.
Yes, I believe the culture expressed for many generations.
It's not all good and bad. It's a lot of ugly.
Yeah.
No. Pagan is no Christian. That's all. Everything no Christian is pagan.
Everything not Christian.
No Christian is pagan. Yes. Because the Rome introduced, Rome invade Israel, Jerusalem for many years, where Jesus Christ born. So he, when Jesus Christ born, was under the domination to Rome Empire. And then when they pursued and killed the Christian, and then Christian becomes a revolutionary movement and go to Rome, like we know Rome, Italy now, and spread that fast that the empire
Empire.
couldn't stop them. So because they couldn't stop, they become Christian. The same people who killed Jesus Christ become Christian, and when they invade other countries, they bring the Christianity to those countries who they invade. So when they invade Ireland, they are Celtic culture.
Mm-hmm.
They bring the Christianity to Ireland. So the pagan was the tradition they originally have, and they bring the Christianity and the tradition of Christianity to Ireland. So they had to combine the pagan tradition with the Christianity, and
That's
they want to pursue all the tradition they have, like they believe in witches, this, that, good and bad. The witches represent bad, these represent good. The good and the bad, like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars is good and bad.
Yeah,
so
like the Empire. I got it.
History, humanity is balancing good and bad. So they come and take the tradition and bring it to America. Those like they mix pagan and Christianity, and they bring, and that's why it's Halloween. They bring that to.
It was still on pace for, and that's where Halloween came from.
And Halloween started as a gathering about the bonfire, and they start to tell a story of the country, like a scary story, their country with mixed with other countries. And that is we call it Halloween now. So it's a melting pot of many tradition, a story of many countries. It's not amazing. All the ghosts and all that thing that we believe or think about it is brought through all the Halloween
translation.
Oh my God, it's amazing. And now you have amazing story to tell. I love Halloween.
And it's kind of like in true Christian form, they want their cake and eat it too. So it needs to go by Christian rules. But then we're also going to go by pagan stuff too. Because that's where all the fun things are. All Hallows Eve and dressing up and pumpkins holding the souls of the dead and the wickedness of the world. All that's fun. And they're like, well, yeah, we're part of that too. But not really. So
yeah, we're gonna pretend like we get it, like we can hang out with both.
Listen, as a poor kid, all I cared about Halloween was knowing which houses gave out full cans of pop and full candy bars, and which ones to avoid that would like offer to let me come into their house and look at their lamps, because that's stranger danger. You got to avoid that. There's always those weirdos that are like, oh, yeah, why don't y'all come in and hang out for a little bit?
Oh, really?
Okay, maybe they're not always there. Maybe they're only in my neighborhood where they want you to
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
I was typically the largest kid in the group, so I was the least likely to be molested.
But, because no, I cannot.
There's always somebody here.
But also it's all in the eyes. When you see somebody, you can tell, I can. Oh, no,
dude, that's weird though. We're talking about looking at kids.
No, but no. Seriously, human.
Oh, as far as getting that feeling.
Yes.
Well, when you're a kid,
it wasn't easy to you look at him, and he's intelligent. Say, he's not easy to get to
fool.
Yes, to fool.
I was trying to turn on my crazy eyes.
You don't have crazy eyes.
See that's where most of my life I've tried to give off the like 30 feet away. Oh, don't mess with that guy. Like he's probably not going to be interested in being bothered, just so I wouldn't be bothered. And it worked out for the most part.
Yes, it wasn't because you were big.
But then you let some people in, and they find out. Yeah.
How sweet teddy bear he is. Oh.
What was I going to say about that? There was. What did you do? What were you just finishing saying? It's hard when there was like one or two or three things. Here's how oblivious I was. Here's how oblivious I was as a kid, because I don't think kids are that intuitive I think they are in some ways.
No, I don't say kids.
But also for me, I was
people in general.
I had ADHD. So I remember going like at the end of the driveway, starting to walk up the driveway, and we could see into the screen door, and there were it was some younger kids or family party / whatever, and it's a nice development, it's a nice neighborhood, and my buddy stops me and he goes, "Come on, listen, we're not going to this house, and I was like, why? Dude, because they had a huge bucket of water right there next to the door. What? I just saw them put it down next to the door. That they were, you talked about, so just before we went live, we talked about how much people are tricking and trick or treating, and how there's some tricks and there's some treats. I remember not directly participating in, but I remember the toilet papering, the TPing, and forking.
Really?
Which I think is really nasty thing to do.
What is that? They throw toilet paper on you?
Covering your house.
Do your trees in
For
the front,
what?
bushes.
Oh, if you don't have candy?
It makes a mess. If you don't hand out candy, if you turn your lights off,
That's awesome.
So
we would always hit the
eggs.
houses.
You do that?
Oh, yeah.
Egging.
Wow.
But here's forks.
God.
Getting forked is when you stick forks in their lawn, so it ruins their lawnmower.
That's a
when
dick move.
Isn't it? That's
And
like
the
other. No, I didn't participate in that. So,
but you know somebody.
Yeah.
Do it. Oh, you do it?
Well, I never did forking because that just sounds
Forking?
like a dick
super
move.
evil. Like I said, you stick forks in their lawn, and they go to cut their lawn, and they'll mess up their lawnmower.
Of course.
What we used to do is the lawns that were like the prettiest year round, whether they gave out candy or not, got toilet papered and egged just to teach them a lesson about that.
Just to ruin their
beautiful.
God.
And then the people that either tried to trick us back or didn't give candy out, we would, I'm going to say we, because not to implicate myself, would take the stems out of their tire valves. I would do
just all by myself.
Oh,
we would take the valves out of the stems of their tires so their tires would go flat, because that's not destruction of private property, because you're not destroying the tire, you're modifying it.
Wow.
And then it was a dick move.
I don't think that's holding up.
No, it's a real thing though. It's fun.
Tampering with. Yeah.
I never said I was a good
story.
kid.
I love the kind of story, because when I was a child, my mother don't let me go, not even in the front porch, nowhere. My brother was allowed to go out and do all kind of mischief. I don't. So when I hear those stories, I live
vicariously through that.
Yes,
yeah.
like
I know you knew the word and you were just getting ready to say it, but I beat you to it. Vicariously.
Vicariously. I don't know the word.
I figured you didn't know.
Vicariously?
It sounded like you were about to put that word right into that sentence, didn't it?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No.
She's definitely moving in that direction of it, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is the emotion when you go.
Tomorrow at work, send me the spelling.
Vicariously, nice.
So, Brack, what you have?
So, in my haunted Ohio,
I can't wait.
There's a lot of like stuff that like we know locally that a lot of people may not know because it's not their local. So my story is about the Sexton family of Stark County, and I'm just gonna give you like base cliff notes to whet your palate to make you go and look for it yourself, because there's so many more fucked up points of the story and so many true facts of this. Like I met one of the kids of the 12 that was in this family, and like you said, you can see it in their eyes. She was a customer of mine, and I could tell just on our rare conversations with each other of how fucked her whole life was. Because like,
and
from
how
a
they
distance you
can
can
say
feel
the
it.
story and look at your eyes.
Such
and say
little-
like they are telling a story with somebody else. They're telling a story.
Oh, for
Such
sure.
little interaction, and yeah.
So the Sextons is Eddie Lee Sexton is the father. He was a the light's weird in here. He was a priest or ordained minister, I should say, in Massillon, Ohio. Publicly held to very high standards. Everybody said he was very lovable, likable, always doing things in his community to outreach and to make himself known. But behind the scenes, his family knew immediately that there was a monster, and that the person they were dealing with was not the person who the public was dealing with. He ends up in fast forwarding murder charges, sexual battery, multiple rapes, and then there are probably 10 or 15 charges they've never been able to fully prove 100%. Like the Sexton house is still in Massillon, Ohio. It goes up for sale every couple of years. There's a pond on the property that they believe he disposed of the bodies of the children he was having with his children, so that the people would not find out. But because nobody who's ever bought the house has had that pond
excavated or
they've never dug into it 100%, so they don't know for sure. But what they can prove is some basics of this. So trying to build his own cult, Eddie fathered 12 children with his wife, Estella May, and a number of children with their daughters. The number is unsure due to the children being handled in-house. Very quickly, his mental illness took over, claiming himself to be the ending, the beginning, the alpha and the omega to his children. So he's basically like striking the power of God into them through himself and saying, look, don't go to your schools. And he allowed them to go to public school still, but he had them under such strict fear of his abilities that they never told anybody what was going on until it got so bad. 3 of the children went to their counselors and told the counselors what was going on, and an investigation got opened up. The father was arrested after he killed the family cat and made all of the kids drink the blood of it. That was apparently that was the line for some of these kids. And they went and complained, and an investigation was opened. The father was arrested, but because it's America and our separation of church and state, he was able to bond himself out. So he bonded out, and then immediately broke the what is the
probation?
Where you can't go and see somebody, you can't be within a certain distance of somebody.
Oh my god! Oh my god! What?
Yep. When he's Well, he broke that thing. Immediately.
Restraining order.
I know in Spanish.
He broke the restraining
Everybody
order.
Everybody else is just yelling, restraining order!
They do this on purpose.
Yeah.
So he breaks the restraining order, shows up at his house, barricades himself in for 2 days, and then packs everything up, packs his family up, and escapes. Where to? Florida, of course, because Florida makes perfect sense. So he escapes to a camping, like a KOA campground or whatever, down in Florida. Now, in the meantime of this, Pixie, which was the first daughter he married, legally married.
He married. He don't want to live in sin with their daughter. He married their daughter also.
Through the course of his time with his own family, all blood, by the way, he ends up doing the same legal jargon with 3 of his daughters. So now he's married to Estella, and he's also married to 3 of his own blood daughters, so that the sex can't be charged against him. It's so fucked. Yeah. And they don't know exactly how many kids they had.
But he was raping way more than just them, you know?
Well, nobody outside the family.
Everything was way more than just the 3 kids.
Yeah.
Probably, though, right?
You would have to assume. So in between him getting arrested and getting paroled,
the weird thing about the nasty, and because people don't think about that. If you marry with your daughter, when start that desire when she was 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, years old? Months old. Like when it start that that is very twisted mind.
That's the worst trauma I could imagine.
Well, see, even the porn industry,
don't go
that far. Rules against that.
Don't go that far.
Like they can't in porn. They can't say it's mother and son doing it. They have to say stepmom and stepson and all that. This guy, he kept everything in house. So it was somewhere in between his arrest and this escape to Florida, Pixie had started dating somebody outside the family, which was strictly against the rules. Except for some reason, Eddie was all right with this guy. So he accepted him in.
He liked him also.
Obviously, this gentleman wasn't of the most sound mind because he couldn't see all the red flags blowing proudly in the wind.
That's why he liked him, because... Yep.
So it turns out Pixie is very pregnant when they meet up, and he believes it's his. So the dad is all right with this guy existing within the family because now nobody's going to question her having a baby because it's this guy's baby, even though the math doesn't add up. So they escape. He takes this kid, this young guy, and Pixie and all the family down to Florida. In the process, Pixie has a young son named Skipper that I do believe it was colic. They don't ever say for sure what the baby had, but it was crying constantly. It was not a healthy baby. Incest.
Yeah.
Could have been a good reason for it. And the dad, because they're all in like this Winnebago thing, the dad insists that one of the sons kill the baby. So he suffocates the baby and they bury it at a campground. And then when the son-in-law, let's call him because I didn't write his name down, when the son-in-law finds out, they decide to kill the son-in-law as well, because then there's no witnesses to anything.
Yeah.
And because of where it all happened, they can't say for sure where the bodies are. So they weren't ever able to fully charge them 100%. Now, once 3 of the kids came forward and pursued giving the authorities every bit of the information they could, they built a case. Eddie got 25 years. Well, Eddie got life in prison, but he only ended up serving 22 because he died of natural causes in jail. Estella May died in jail as well. One of the sons, I do believe it was Charlie.
Oh, the wife?
Yeah.
But she was a victim.
Well, to a point. Because
I know.
Once he was in jail, what they held against her was once he was in jail, the overwhelming belief was that she should have realized how free she was to where she could have stopped it from happening again.
Do you let me a little parenthesis. That is Halloween Day. This is a normal thing. Women care about this. It was a study with elephants in India where they wrap the leg when a tree or something very strong. The elephant cannot move, cannot running away from the leash, whatever thing they have. So after, like, he fight, but he can get it away.
Yeah.
So until months of doing that, the elephant just get like accustomed to he cannot escape.
Yeah.
So then they put it in one.
They're conditioned.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that woman, maybe I don't know how old she was when they got together, but their mind, the people minds
is wired back-asswards.
And maybe that is all she knows, and she couldn't help it because
the thing that
I am not defending her. I don't agree with any
you are pro the wife had nothing to do with it.
No, I'm pro with
but then
you're a victim. You cannot help. That is all you know.
How do you convict the father's parents for him ending up as fucked up as he was?
What happened is he is the one doing, the other receiving
But what if he's only doing what he ever learned?
Yes, yes.
That. But that only goes so far.
She hurt so many people because her silent and not doing. He was doing. He was.
Well, she's doing too, is what he's saying. There was enough.
Well, and that's where the tipping point was that one of the sons got charged and served 18 years, and then the mother got charged and served 20 and was charged with 20. Well, given the 25 years, it's because there was a point where you take the father out of the equation, and these two continued the path of neglect and the path of violence and abuse. Yeah. So that's where the charges stemmed and held against those two, is because like the one son followed the orders blindly of the dad, believing that he was like the almighty, and never questioned that at all. And then that's weird. And then the wife had a point where she could say, okay, for 20 years I've done exactly what Eddie said because he's the boss, and if I don't, I'll be killed. But then they took him to jail, and she continued letting the house run by his rules minus the iron fist.
Because believe, like, look, religions. In the Bible, you took every single religion, the Bible or every single religion, and the people who follow that religion are not following what the Bible says, what the holy book says about their tradition or their culture or their religion. People ban things and doing what they want to do because they are twisted.
Because they're evil.
And that's twisted.
That's I mean, not to shoot off topic, but a lot of mainstream religion is that it's the telephone game. We're so far away from what it started out as.
Exactly.
That we don't know what it is anymore. There's been so many edits to Bibles and the Book of King James,
lost in translation and adaptation and times and interpretation.
We're really helping the situation by adding another podcast.
Yep. But you know what? Somebody needs us. We have people that need it every time we do it.
Absolutely.
So the father dies in jail, mother dies in jail. Son is, I do believe he's still currently serving, but he will actually face parole in the next 5 or 6 years, I do believe. There's 3 children that have changed their names and have created lives here in Ohio and in Stark County. I think they're all 3 still in Stark County. The house is you can go on whatever that Zillow, and you can see it on Zillow. You can do a virtual walkthrough. I know Stark County Paranormal is trying to get the current owner to let them do an overnight visit there, which will tie back into your story.
They think
I mean, if you're going to believe in ghosts and energies, you would think.
Well, I believe in energy, and I believe that some people can manifest or some people can see that manifestation of the energy because soul is energy. If energy never destroyed, and soul is energy, so
he made sure.
So he will be there.
He made sure before he killed anybody. Do you have any unfinished business?
No.
Okay.
See, so my money
no
is,
ghosts.
If there's going to be ghosts in Stark County, it's going to be at the Sexton House and all of the spirits that they open up this time of year because they're all in the old Planned Parenthood buildings. And you want to talk about some wicked little baby ghosts, some spooky little boos running around those places.
Little baby. They are not spooky.
But pitter patter, a little poltergeist. Pitter patter, a little poltergeist.
Little Casper up there.
Somebody called me Casper. You did. You said, yeah. You go. Because I'm white.
So white. No, white. You are so.
I was the one today. Go ahead. I want to.
No.
Was that? Yeah. So that's the Sexton family. The Sextons.
Yeah, and so a lot of people look at will dig into these true crime podcasts or these serial killer podcasts or the lore of the big names like the Rich Ramirez. Well, I'm talking about real killers. Rich Ramirez, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy. They look at those guys. Those are the Hollywood killers. Mm-hmm. Well, then once they dig in a little bit deeper and they start realizing that those 3 guys are fucked, but they're not as fucked as they could be. then you start seeing things like this that are like truly like heart-wrenching. Like there are parts of this story that I took a vast amount of notes, and I could have probably done the whole hour just on this story.
Yeah.
But I want you to read it because like I'm reading it and I'm learning about it.
Oh, yeah,
and it's hitting me and killing me for different reasons. Like as a father, knowing that this guy was like procreating and creating other children just to dispose of them, knowing they're going to be disposed of, is like heart-wrenching to me. And you know, hopefully through the life of the podcast, we do a number of these to where I can give the people who are just like casual fans of the dark a small peek into the real dark, because there are some truly fucked up stories out there.
Yes.
And the Dahmers and the Ted Bundys aren't those. Like those are the Walmarts. Those are the great values of serial killers. But you get into like fucking Toy Box and fucking Candyman Killer and like real shit like that. That's where it is.
Candyman Killer is from here too?
No, not from Ohio.
Okay.
No.
Is that Chicago?
Either Chicago or California.
You know, I just come to Ohio. I'm from Dominican Republic, moved to Spain for 10 years, well, 11 really, and moved here from Spain. And really what gets me from Ohio is Superman. I'm a huge fan of Superman. And when I knew Superman is from here, I mean, created here and I said, oh my God, I love it. I need to go. And I am here 10 years and I never been in the house of the creator. Oh God. I
have a similar story of how I wound up here because I'm from Florida and I needed to leave. I had friends who were moving their business up here, but then I looked where my favorite bands were going, and Cleveland and Columbus was like their two biggest spots. They would always start in Cleveland and then end in Columbus, or start in Columbus and end in Cleveland. So I'm like, fuck it. Ohio can't be that big of a state, could it? Well, turns out it is.
Yeah, pretty big.
Luckily, you know, I wound up here and moved around and figured it out. And yeah.
How you like it?
It's not bad.
I love it.
Florida for sure.
I love the people here. As a alien, as a foreign person, woman, I feel safe here. Some people will say at the contrary, but I feel welcoming. I don't feel stranger.
That's because you're a Cleveland 9. Okay.
I kind of Cleveland there. I love it. I love the people. They say the people from Eastern.
Like
right?
Eastern Europe?
No, here.
Midwest is what she's thinking of. Midwestern hospitality is what she's.
Good. Yes, you are so good translator. He is my interpreter, really. And in our job, I want to say something and I don't know how to do it. And he sent me the text how to do it. He said, that is exactly what I want to say. And he said,
I do my best.
You are what like people say about you, that you are very welcoming, very nice person in the culture is very fast, easy to understand that how you interact, how you coping with each other and everything. And I love that from here. That's why I'm here. Why you like Ohio?
Just
besides all this, the darkest story.
It's so much more affordable than anywhere than Florida.
Cost of living.
It is.
In Florida, I made a lot more money than I do now, and I was always broke.
What about and quality life? Because in Florida, you spend as fast you make the money. I don't know. It's life. It's what it is in Florida, right?
I up here, I own my house. I own my car. I work a job that I only could work 40 hours a week if I wanted to, but I work much more.
Teach me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So I did want to move on, but I remembered where I wanted to interject a little bit ago with the Sexton story is I was the one. I did my first ever acting gig today, and it was. Thank you. It's gonna be an IMDb credit, and doesn't violate any SAG or AFTRA agreements or the strikes. So we were all somewhat amateurs, but the director has done other projects and seemed to really know what he was doing and gave us some good things to go off of. And we were running down an alleyway, like with these fake guns and stuff. And we're out there on like a side street in Cleveland, like just getting downtown. And these people are like, going to their cars and like looking at us and stuff and
living their life.
They were like, you
guys are playing pretend.
They told the one guy, hey, go tell them that we're just filming, that it's all just play. It's the guns aren't real. And then the director goes, you go with them too. And I was like, okay, of course. There was one other white guy. And so, but yeah, it was definitely.
Chances are you were the whitest, though.
Yeah. I said, don't worry if the cops come. Yeah. The other guy was Brooklyn and like Italian, slick back hair. Definitely the whitest was me.
They're like, okay, if somebody needs a, much like you do for Bethsaida, if the other guy didn't come through with the right lingo, they were like, okay, Matt's going to figure it out.
Yep.
That'll be the smoother.
Exactly. Yeah. So they said, if the cops come.
You pronounce my name beautifully. Perfect. Wow.
I've worked with it.
That's great. Thank you.
I had one of those anyways, where somebody was like, they just said their name on the voicemail. And I was like, I think it's this. Then I called him back and I was like, he spelled it for me. And I was like, I know I can't prove this, but that is how I wrote your name down. And he goes, that's amazing. Like he was blown away. So, but I had these jokes ready to go when I did this filming. It's an it's a gritty urban drama is how it's described. And it's a TV series.
It's a TV. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a TV series and I'm going to be in episode 4. Of season 1, episode 4. I don't know if how much I'm allowed to talk about it or how much they want me to talk about it yet, because it's not out yet. I don't think it's out yet.
Yes, but not much.
So I've never done any acting, anything, and there were a couple of people who had some experience, and I was just going to town with the jokes. Like I went down the alley, down the street. I was like, I want to see like where were our spots, where we're coming out of, where we're turning the corner. And I go down and I'm looking over there and I'm like walking back and forth across the alley. And I'm like, this is going to be funny because it's a shooting scene. It's a shootout. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm walking ping, 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 like the carnival games. As I'm walking back and forth, I'm going back and forth like this. And I just had the whole crew cracking up over that. So that was funny.
I'm surprised that you finished early because I've been extra in 2 movies.
They had other stuff. Yeah, they had other stuff to film.
How many hours?
It was quick. Whenever I texted you that I got home,
it
was a few hours. No, it was a few hours total.
More than I don't know, 10 or 12 hours.
And we didn't start filming right away either. So, but I said, when I found out it was a speaking role and that we were going to get our lines on set, I told the director that I was like, you're going to make me say the N-word here? And here? Do I have to say it here?
Nostradamus?
Yeah. Ninja. And then you're going to make me shoot this guy? Like, what are you doing to me? How are you making me look? And so then I found out that I was going to be shot. And I was like, oh, so I guess I'm not coming back from that. And he goes, we don't know how dead you are. You could come back from this person got shot a couple episodes ago. And then, we do the entire scene. He gets the blood on, and he tells me it's going to be a throat shot. I was like, I'm not coming back, right?
When I see that, it's like, when I see the pictures, he's a zombie. No.
We're basically like done filming, but I have to stay in that very last position while they get some things set up for like a final shot. So I'm on my back on the ground in a puddle on the brick street with the blood, and like you might as well just draw a chalk outline around my body. And he goes, all right, now when we're filming this last part, he goes, when I say something, he goes, do that like jerk jump, like you're on the ground, but you know, you just got shot and you're dead on the ground already, you know, like you see. And I was like, okay, this is going to be, yeah, I'm not coming back from that.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they had you yell the N-word. So
Yeah,
they
yeah,
had to correct that.
Yeah.
Like Cleveland, the people that lived in the area that you were filming in saw this very pretty white guy, you run around screaming the N-word, dropping the N-bomb, and they're like, wait, no, he died.
He's not going to do the lines that we want.
They
all
fixed
right.
it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that was a really cool experience. All right, let me get into my haunted Ohio story. I would say it's really just a spooky story. Incredibly, it's all historically accurate, and it's just the thing of dreams and imagination. I can't imagine what was going through this guy's head, but I can tell you that Sir Harry Andrews was a medieval architecture expert and a medic in World War I. And he is the creator and the builder of the Chateau La Roche, which is named after the French hospital that he served in, aka Loveland Castle in Loveland, Ohio. Sir Harry Andrews was knighted overseas from pulling a high-ranking officer out of the line of fire. So he saved this high-ranking official's life, and he was knighted as a result. Where he stayed ended up getting the medic. Hang on, let me find. I didn't put it in order like I was supposed to. I probably did. Okay, so he was. Okay, so it was called. This was the word I was looking for. I'm so sorry, but you try to remember cerebrospinal meningitis.
Cerebrospinal meningitis.
I mean, that's a thing.
Even for me.
Don't hide behind.
That's a household word. Those are household words, right? Cerebrospinal meningitis.
I can't even say that.
There was
I don't speak proper English.
An outbreak in the hospital that he was working in. So everybody got this debilitating disease and died. Like, I don't know how many people from but almost everybody died. It was at least like 20 some people at this medic center and hospital. They took his body a couple weeks or a few weeks later after they thought that the infection was, wouldn't have been affected. And they went in with like all their gear on and stuff. And they took him for the coroner's office. They took him for the autopsy. And the surgeon made an incision on the inside of the top of his mouth, and he started bleeding. So the surgeon goes, dead people don't bleed. We have this thing called adrenaline. I'm going to try it. It's a new thing that they were using, just very, very little known about what the effects of adrenaline were going to be on their body. And like after 3 weeks of being dead on the table, his heart started again. He was blind.
That is for real?
Yeah. He was paralyzed and blind and started recovering after about 3 weeks. And after a few more months, he was fully recovered. He had gone back home and found that his fiance had married one of his best friends. Poor guy. Story of my life seems like good luck, Chuck over here. Loveland.
What happened
So
is guys say too much about their partner, and then the friend that doesn't have that say, "Oh, he has something I wanted," and then when the guy happen something, the friend take over the wife. Don't say.
I mean, the guy was dead for 3 weeks, though. I don't blame the friend 100%.
No, I blame him.
People have feelings.
It's a lot of more women.
So
Why have to be?
Not only was he
Next soldier will be that one.
A war hero, and I mentioned at the very beginning, but I kind of sold the thing on the medieval architecture, right? So he was not only just huge expert into medieval architecture, he was also a professor. And when he came to Ohio, he taught in Cincinnati area schools, in addition to teaching Sunday school, being a youth pastor for the church, and having his boys club, his Boy Scouts club. And he got, so it was an English nobleman that he saved in harm's way. He came to the U.S. and his this group of kids that he was teaching, he started a group called the Knights of the Golden Trail. And he told these students that he was also like a pastor for in the church, Sunday school kind of thing. He said, if you kids gather all these bricks and stones, I will build this castle. And he bought the property down near Miami River.
Wow, that's just the beginning. Oh, wow.
He bought the property and he worked on it from the time he bought it to the day or the time that he died. And when he died, he gave it to the kids. And they said, you know, you can have it for the organization, just keep it up to date and just keep the castle going. You know, that's my only ask. So those are the only things that they ask of them. A couple of other things that were super interesting about this.
Where is the castle?
Loveland, Ohio.
Loveland, Ohio.
How far is from here? I want to
3.5 hours.
It's not bad. I can drive. Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually considering going and being able to spend a night there. And
I'm included because I want to include. Okay, thanks, God. Yes.
We talked about this.
Oh yes, it's haunted.
We talked about this.
Yes.
And
okay,
then
great.
some other.
Yes, I want to go.
Some other amazing things about this place is that this castle is built to 1/5 of the specifications of the, I think I might have already said that, the medical building that they worked out of in France.
Oh, no,
so that's where you get the Chateau La Roche name, and it's to scale. And the way that this place is built is you've got super tight spiral staircases that are stone, and they're all set. And like after they ran out of bricks, they built the rest of it with like milk cartons where they would pack it with concrete and just make bricks that way.
Yeah,
and they built the entire castle this way.
He remanufactured techniques that they had quit using for 100 years. He went back.
How stable is that?
It's stable. I mean, because if you look at it,
it's gorgeous.
500-year-old castle.
I think I see it in the documentary, because when you guys told me about it, I searched on YouTube and I was watching it in my TV.
There are strategic things made all throughout this castle. Like you can shoot bow and arrow out of the windows, but it's more difficult to shoot in. I don't think you can do it anymore.
Yeah.
But for if they had to defend the castle, if they were attacked.
I'm pro America. I want to do every single thing people do. No, every single thing, but
I want to go skydiving.
So I did.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes. And pandemic.
See, there's that experience.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So, when the Sir Harry Andrews found these kids and took over their youth group, they were running out of 2 army tents that were worn out, that were just falling apart. So at the end of it all, he caught himself on fire on March 14th, 1981. He lived a long life.
God, yes, you told me.
On
I
April
forgot about that.
16th, 1981. So he lived for another month and a day, but he did die of his injuries of burning to death.
And nobody knows why he did that?
Well,
it was an accident.
Oh, it was an accident. Oh, okay.
That he had got caught on fire.
Brad had another theory.
Here's my theory, and
Okay.
then you do know about the story too.
yeah.
So my theory is the reason that it's haunted is that you can still hear the screams of all the little boys and all the things that he did to them throughout those years.
Well, it's just it's a castle, not a Catholic
He
church.
was pedophile or something?
No. There's no.
Oh,
there's no
okay,
allegations in
Matthew.
that.
Don't put in
That
my
was-
hand. What is the word you use? Like gobble something.
Putting words in your mouth.
No,
Vicarious?
you say gobble go something. Gobble. Like I believe everything.
Oh, gullible.
Gullible.
I was going gobbledygook.
That's what I heard too.
Gullible.
Why would I ever tell you you're full of gobbledygook? Like, you're gonna understand that.
No, but it's you gullible. I said maybe I didn't.
Oh
know
my
what
gosh,
does that mean.
the fact that she said that, she goes, yeah, I probably am.
And
She didn't know what gullible
I had
was,
no
and I'm
idea,
like,
but they're
boom,
saying the sound,
self-defining.
in your notes, do you have when he finished the castle in comparison to when the accident
It was
happened?
No, it's
unfinished.
Well, in his opinion, it was finished. He had done everything he was supposed to do with it, and there was a short time frame between him finishing and celebrating being done with what he needed to do with it, and then he went and donated the land and the castle to the Boys and Girls Club of America, and within 24 hours went to the roof and lit himself on fire because he was done.
That wasn't. Oh, it's my mother.
After
I'm sorry.
after surviving everything,
Oh my god.
Sorry.
After
It's
surviving
my
the
mother from my
meningitis,
country. She will understand. I don't pick the call.
Oh,
That's all right.
okay.
Okay.
after surviving the meningitis and surviving the war and coming back to like looking forward to coming back home and being able to pursue his life again and realizing that his life had moved on so quickly.
Oh, and he never got married.
Nope.
He never got married.
Remarried. Never had one allegation against any of the kids. You know, he was as clean and upstanding of a person as there was.
Nobody come out and say something.
Which is why the pedophilia was a joke.
Okay.
And which is why the story spins in two different directions. So there's facts. How do you accidentally get lit on fire on the roof of a building that doesn't have that capability?
Yeah, I thought it was from like a garbage fire.
Stuff, no, like, yes.
I read that it was a garbage fire, but yeah,
it might have been the
Oh my gosh,
article you were reading
maybe
needed to do the clean spin on things. Because everything I've read just
he lit himself on fire on the roof. I really want to go now.
Yeah, that's
See, I thought he was just going and brushing his ghost penis against people.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ooh, whoa.
No, he felt like he was done, that the castle was to all the standards that he wanted it to be at. He had already made all the paper arrangements and all of the donation arrangements, and he ran out of things to do with his life. So he took his life on the roof, and then
I was 85 years old, 80 something years old.
I don't remember the time frame between, but I think it's a very, very, very
he was
short thing.
85
when he passed,
and it was in 1981.
No, he did on purpose.
Definitely. Was I wrong about World War One? It was World War.
No, it was World War One.
Yeah, so he was in World War One and died in 1981.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
and
because it makes you think about how Einstein didn't live that long ago. And that reference point, those reference points. But yeah.
and so now in the last 25 years, there's a great little book from an author from Cleveland, actually. And I can't remember his name. I wish I could. It's called It Came from Ohio. It's a story, or it's a collection of short stories of things.
A book?
Yeah,
I seem to remember that too.
It's on Amazon?
I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Sure. Send me the name. I will search. I want to get.
So there's a number of UFO sightings in the area since his passing. Obviously, the haunted. They have knights that live in the castle, so that whenever you're there for overnights or when you're there visiting, you can talk to them and they stay in character and they tell you about the dorms and the staying in the castle.
Oh my god!
Not R.L. Stein.
No.
Okay, so the other one is James Renner.
James Renner, because now he just in the last 5 years sold another story that's being made into a movie by I think Brad Pitt or something like that. Same guy, but he they say that you can see frogmen coming out of the Ohio River, and so people go down there to hunt Bigfoot and to hunt Mothman and frogmen.
Yes, Mothman start here. That story, right?
Well, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, but it's still relatively close to where that castle is. So there's a ton of weird things that go on there. Obviously, odd people are drawn to this location. We have a couple angles we're working as a group right now to do an overnight visit there.
Yes.
So my friend Will and Stark County Paranormal. I probably have the name wrong.
But
we need you on this one.
Oh my god!
I also have another.
All the device, the reader,
Yeah. So what it'll be is.
Oh my goodness!
For a fee, you can bring 15 people in, and from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., the castle is completely yours. So basically, what I would like to do is get there, get set up, do our podcast from there about the castle and just what's going on and what we're all going to be looking for, and then we can record our own adventures.
Oh my god! Yes! Oh my god! Yes!
Yes.
So excited.
The thing is though, is the people of Loveland Castle. They love it for what it is. They don't really care for the mystical intrigue of it. So
tourist thing.
When somebody like me calls and trying to set this up, they're like, "Well, what's your intentions?" Well, my intentions, we're going to do a podcast and we're going to do the investigation and paranormal societies. And they're like, "We'll see when some open dates are," but they're like real vague. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to get our $350 because that's all it's gonna be.
Yep.
We'll get our $350 together, and instead of just paying the minimum deposit, we'll just went ahead and show them how serious we are, book the whole thing, pay for it up front, and then they'll realize that we're serious. And
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Oh my god! So
even if we have to do it from my phone, which I don't think we will have to, but the place looks cool.
Yeah, and I think they've had they've had 3 or 4 people go in and do like full scale paranormal investigations. So there's electricity ran through the whole thing at this point. They've kept it updated. You can actually sleep on the premises. They don't prefer you to. And then if it's like an overnight sleepover type thing, that's a whole nother booking that you have
experience that they
Okay.
So we will
and that sounds so cool.
We will be allowed 15 people. And so I figured whatever paranormal group is assisting us in the tech side of things probably has 7 people bring. And then
I'm good to bring like 0 friends.
Yeah, you can ask.
I'm good for.
I'll bring all 0 of my friends.
So between
or 0,
very interested.
He's trying to say we're all of his friends.
Oh.
Yep.
So he's already bringing everybody that he gets along with easily. I think
you can invite Matthew too.
My daughter would like to go because she seems
into it. Yeah.
And susceptible to paranormal.
Oh yeah.
So I think that would help.
She's so you.
Yeah.
So I love it. I really love her.
I have ghost stories from. I don't know if I talked about it last time, but it was my grandpa visited me in a dream, and my parents go, "Which one took you for a ride on the choo-choo train?" And he used to work on the train tracks. So then they pull out a black and white photo, like 25 people standing in front of this old train. Like you can tell the photo is just ancient. And I pointed right at my grandpa. And I'd never seen him, never met him before. I was like so little.
Yeah.
I don't remember this happening, but it freaked my parents out.
Oh man,
enough.
Wow.
When I first got married the second time, we bought a house and we found a Garfield phone, like those old school where you pull back off.
Oh yeah.
And my daughter was like 5 at the time, and she didn't know what Garfield was. She was just learning about Garfield when she saw this funny cartoon cat. And we gave it to her. And one day I'm coming up the stairs to go into like the living part of the house because they had it separated into like 2 separate housing things, and we had made it one again. So I'm going up the stairs and I hear her talking to somebody. So I slow down so I don't make any noise. I peek around the corner. I see her talking on the phone, and I'm like, Savannah, who are you talking to? And she goes, the guy that used to live here tells me I need to be careful in the basement. And I'm like, why?
Oh my God, I had this bug in my butt.
Oh, me too.
I'm like, why are we being careful in the basement? And she goes, well, because weird things happen down there, so I just need to be careful. And I'm like,
how old
was she? Yeah,
she was 5.
Oh my God.
And now the son of the former owners is still alive, but both the wife that had just passed for us to be able to buy the house and the husband passed 10 years prior. So like, we're not worried about anything currently being weird. So this comes and goes. We donate the phone to charity. We give it to the Goodwill. Mysteriously, it disappears, if you ask Savannah. And then we start doing renovations to the house. And in the basement, because they had converted it so that the mom wouldn't have to go up and down the stairs, there was a living room and a family room. And on the other side of the building was the kitchen and the dining room that they had converted from a garage. Oh. Well, when we started doing the modifications we wanted to make, we noticed on the north wall, there was 1 layer of wood paneling. On the east wall, there was 3 layers of wood paneling. And on the south wall, there was 5 layers. Because of a leak, there was moisture. And anytime moisture would start to come through, they would just put another layer. Okay, so we started tearing down. Yeah. We were tearing down all this wood paneling. And when we got to the base layer, which is just the brick of the house, there was all these really fucking creepy Warner Brother paintings on the wall, to where that back room used to be like a daycare at some point. And all we can assume is that was where the weird shit happened, because it was like, it literally was Porky the Pig with a voice blurb that came out that said secrets are meant to be kept. Like basically telling the kids to keep it to themselves.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was fucked. Like, and Savannah to this day was like, well, I don't know. I probably wasn't talking to anybody. Probably. I'm like, sure. But
sure.
I think one day she'll be like, well, somebody was there.
There's 5 layers of paneling and all this creepy artwork on the walls in the basement.
Yeah.
That nobody ever knew was there.
Yeah. And clearing out all these people's stuff, I can tell you the root of where this guy's evil was. He had 19 second place trophies for the husband and wife races. What are those called? Because I'm real bad at details.
Potato sack races.
It's like marathons. They're like husband and wife marathons. And they always came in second because he would do his part fabulously and then the wife couldn't follow through. So that's where the evil of this guy's life came from. He was so bitter because he never won first place ever at all. 19 times he lost because second place is just first place loser.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
Yeah. And it was weird, man. Like when we bought the house,
that's like being a stand-up. You gotta be able to take.
Yeah. When we bought the house, the neighbor asked me what I was going to do with the Harley that was in the garage because they had a shed in the back that hadn't been opened in like 5 years. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, oh, there's a Harley in there. I've been watching, and it was the dad's. And when he passed, it never left the building again. So we're buying it, the house, and we're thinking, oh, well, I don't ride a motorcycle, but this will be fun.
But here's a free motorcycle.
Yeah.
Do whatever. Well, a day before we took claim of the property, the son came and pulled the motorcycle out of the shed and dumped 12 bags of beer cans in the shed, on the back porch, in the house. Basically just took all the garbage from his house and dumped it in our house. So yeah, that was the gift. He traded me a Harley for a bunch of recyclable cans of Natty Light, nonetheless, which is like the worst beer ever, apparently.
That's gross.
Yeah.
The Natty Light, man. That's the worst part of that story.
But it was
that's the scary part of the story.
We had and I think we lived at that house for 8 years, and we had a number of like weird happenings.
Have you experienced any paranormal?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Growing up, like it was. It's kind of like that theory that people have where if you're told no or you're told you can't do something, you start to believe that there is a limit to what you can and can't do. Growing up poor and with parents who weren't interested in raising.
You know what? I don't like the word poor, because to me, poverty come to here. You are very smart and you are been dealing with a lot of things and you go through. You are not poor.
But that's a choice I made.
Like me, in my country, we have limitation, economic limitation. We are not poor. I never consider myself poor. I always say, especially in my country, we have a lot of limitation.
My definition of poor doesn't have anything to do with the wealth. It has everything to do with accepting where you're at in the societal scale.
That's what I'm saying. And to me, it's mentally. To you, as the position you have in the society, well, basically it is.
So, like, but I'm a success considering where I come from.
That's why
and I'm all right with that. But we definitely were poor. Like we chose to stay in the ignorance that was cultured by our subculture of people, and accept the limitations that was given to us.
Yeah, you don't choose. You just accept the limitation because you didn't know any better at that time.
Yeah,
but now,
by the way,
why are you?
By the way, they are finding correlations between your parents' societal status and where you end up in your societal status. And here's why. It all has to do with the woman. The mom will go through her term either a really wealthy, really well-to-do person or struggling. And if you're a struggling person and you have those hormones and those stressors that go off, it actually stunts the growth of a certain gland in the human brain in the baby. And if you have a very easy life and lifestyle, let's say, you're just, money's not an issue whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So you carry that baby to term without, with the best luxuries in life. That child is born already with a larger gland, whatever the name of the gland was. But I just heard this on a much better podcast recently.
A documentary about National Geographic about pregnancy and development, the brain and everything.
Was that the same study, do you think?
Could be, because it's the exact statement that you just said. Mm-hmm. It was in the more.
That's
more
crazy that you've also heard of it, but we heard about it in different ways.
Yeah,
but that's pretty cool.
And think about like the non-science aspect from that angle is. As kids, we learn our language based off of watching people use our language.
Yeah.
So we learn our limits based off of what we're told our limits are. So if your parents they lived their whole life in the hustle struggle, like my parents, my mom was 25 years younger than my dad, and from a very odd situation that wound them up together. So it shouldn't have ever made kids out of the whole thing, but it happened obviously a bunch of times. So all of us were raised to know that we were only going to do so much. And if we made it out of where we came from, that was the success. So I knew at some point I was going to have to leave. So I left. And that's where my success started, was coming here. And now with 2 kids and potentially more kids that I can help and give lessons to and let them, grow up, avoiding what I went through. Avoiding what I went through, because I don't mind telling anybody all the bullshit I did and all the stuff I went through, but I'm very proud to say that my daughter at 15 hasn't gone through any of it, and hopefully my son won't, and any of the other kids I'm related to and have my hands in.
in raising them.
In raising, yeah.
Influencing.
Won't go through that either. But you never know. And so it's like a nurture nature thing. Like you're seeing the science of the nature. But I think a lot of that's nurture. Just like obesity, I think a lot of it is nurture. Addiction, there's a very high argument for the science of addiction. And then you have those people who say, well, if you would have never tried that drug, you would have never been addicted to it. Except anybody who's worked with kids sees that kid. Like I ran a Boys and Girls Club for 2.5 years, and we had like a number of kids that would just spin and spin and spin until they got dizzy and fell down.
Yeah.
And as they hit the ground, they rejoiced in being dizzy. That's addiction in its earliest state. Kids that know that if you drink enough Mountain Dew, you get all revved up. That's addiction in its earliest state.
Yes, I was watching a documentary and in YouTube about a study of children. I don't remember, 3, 4, 5 years old. They put the children in front of a table with a candy and say, if you can wait, I don't know how many minutes.
That 5 minutes.
If you can 5 minutes, I will give you others. So you will have 2.
Right.
And they observed that process, and the children who took the candy and eat it
didn't have the self-control.
And they could tell who children will be successful according to that. And the 20 years later, they do the 20 something years later, they do the study again, and all those kids was way more successful than the children who eat the candy. So you can teach, like you do with your children, teach your children to retrain for a better moment. That is really what our father, no, you don't go out today, tomorrow, or you don't get this. No, later.
Yeah, my body count speaks for itself. I know.
And think about where our society is on the opposite end of that. Where we are in the age of immediate gratification. Amazon is possibly delivering things same day.
Yep.
You have all these services that will bring it to you. Like Jim Gaffigan made a joke on one of his specials about how someday we're going to be able to send food directly to our house, and they're going to walk in and then feed it to us, and we're never going to have to get up out of our chairs. We're just going to sit there and be fed, and everything's going to happen to us. But in reality,
that's more scary than any Halloween story. Really,
like it's frightening to know like how many people never leave the house anymore. They work from home, they live from home, and like y'all went out.
Isolation is not good.
Yeah, y'all went out this weekend. I went out to a Halloween party last night as well, and on a much different turn of things. And you see like the difference in people. It's like homeschool kids versus regular kids.
Yeah.
Yes, you're not guaranteed to be weird if you're homeschooled, but there's only so much education you learn from school. A lot of it is social education and like tolerance.
Tolerance.
With my generation, and I will take not blame. But my generation is the generation fucking kids up right now because we're afraid to say no. Like I'm not. If you like when y'all meet my daughter, you'll realize I say no all the fucking time. If I needed to, she doesn't give me any reason to. So like I spoil her because she's a good kid. But if she wasn't a good kid, I would have no problems not spoiling her. Like there's not an issue there. But so many of these parents, like as a kid, I was told that colleges have professors that work in them, and they also have janitors. Like, know where you fit in life. Know where your line is.
That's tough. That's tough for anybody to hear.
Yeah, because like basically it was saying, hey, you're only meant to do so much. And I can name off the top of my head 18 to 25 kids that I grew up with that are dead now because of drug overdoses or being killed in the street.
Easy.
Because there are some, everybody thinks all of Florida is Disney, but there are real streets down there. And with the social influx from like the islands and South America and Central America, it gets real fucking serious down there. And because of how easy it is to move drugs in and out, a lot of the trial drugs would come into our area and they would test them on all of us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Florida Man was the first person to ever do, what is it? wax or the bath salts.
Yeah, and
bath salts and stuff.
Face ate, and they thought that one guy was a zombie. I remember one summer a thing called Yoda rolled through, and it was like an acid ecstasy hybrid.
Oh my god!
That was killing the ecstasy kids because they weren't used to how strong it was, and it was killing the acid kids because they didn't do enough of the ecstasy to know that you
have any tolerance.
And it was just wiping people out. I knew like 7 kids that died in one summer because of it.
Oh.
And
my god!
It's
you really know how to pick them.
Yeah, but I survived, and now I'm telling their story, and I'm doing things like that. So.
Someone at the strip club last night slid me a pill.
Really?
Yeah.
Who is she?
No, he. A guy at the bar at the strip club.
Oh my god!
Slid a pill over. Right.
The guy I was talking to.
I don't think so.
Is it like a red hair-ish?
I don't know.
He doesn't have blue eyes. I will never talk to him.
You may figure it out. There weren't that many people there.
No, it wasn't.
But
it wasn't white or black because wasn't just one.
I might be getting ready to tell you.
Okay.
I could tell this guy was wasted, candy wasted. And he slides this thing over to me. Now, something that I didn't think about at the time, but one thing that I know is if it's an unmarked pill, then it's normally not a controlled substance. It's normally just some kind of supplement. But I don't know what it is. I'm not interested. I go, no, thanks, man. No, I've actually been sober for almost 2 years, which today is my 23 months.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Will be, and you going out. Like you going out.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're going out.
Yes,
like I said, it's a bar business.
Temptation for them.
Comedy's a bar business, and I just sit there. I get ginger ale.
For some people, it is a temptation. Go out, be in a bar, and don't get drinks. Like I call.
I told this guy no, I wasn't interested in this pill. And he goes, oh, well, it's just caffeine. I was like, all right, well, still, I'm that type of person that can drink a cup of coffee and then go to bed. But I'm not going to take a caffeine pill for no reason at 3 a.m. 2:45. And this guy's looking at me like cross-eyed, stupid looking.
Hair, right?
And he goes, all right, man, well, that's okay. I respect you so much for the sobriety thing. And he goes, I wish I was that guy. And I was like, I was, of course, thinking to myself, but I also always think to myself, even just that little interaction there, hopefully that guy maybe does something different tomorrow.
See, I live on the opposite end of that spectrum where, like, if you put it in front of me, it's gone before you have time to fully explain things to me. Like, I remember
you have to stay away from the people, places, things, and drugs.
One time the plan was to go to Walgreens and steal a bunch of Vicks 44 Double D and then go to Universal Studios, eat some acid, drink the Double D, and they call that robo-tripping. That's a thing. We used to do that.
Yeah, it put Lil Wayne in the hospital like 6 times.
Well, that's probably why my kidneys don't. But so I got the order of things mistaken. So here I am on security cam. Luckily, my friend works at this Walgreens, and he sees me standing in the middle of the aisle drinking the Vicks before we stole it.
Because you were already tripping.
Oh yeah, because I'd already eaten my share of the acid, and now I'm drinking this Vicks, and we run and we make it to Universal Studios. First ride we get on is Back to the Future. And I'm freaking out. If you've ever been to Universal Studios, there's a big fucking T-Rex that hits the boat or hits the car and it goes all crazy. Well, I throw the door open and I jump out and take off running. And all I hear is my friend go, "You're going to get left in the past!" And I'm like, "Fuck off!" And got a permanent ban from Universal Studios.
Oh my gosh. That's like how I got fired banned from Mark's. They're not going to stop me from going into Mark's now 20 years later.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Guys,
I had one of the
so much fun. I don't do anything in my teens or my childhood
20s
and nothing.
Well, you know what? Having kids, I go back and I look at like telling stories when my daughter was like 8 to 12 was all G rated. They're like, oh, don't do that because of this. And then when she got about 12-ish, it started to become PG, where I started adding a little bit more of the details. And then like the reality is she's almost 16 now. She'll be 16 in December. Okay. So there's like very little withheld. And I go, hey, this is why. Like the other day she said, that guy's tripping. I'm like, how do you fucking know what tripping is? And she's like,
from you, Dad.
She goes, how do you know what tripping is? And I was like,
let me tell you.
I know tripping.
Well, we ain't been tripping. We've been having a great time, having a great show. And I think this is a good spot to wrap it up this week. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Yeah. We'll be back in a couple of weeks or maybe next weekend. We're going to try to bring you as many episodes or have one or two that we can bring out as we go. And by the next time, this episode definitely needs to get on the Spotify, the iHeartRadio, whatever I can get done on that. So
yes, let's do it.
I didn't notice that we had a couple of comments during the show.
Nice, really.
Matt Castile was watching when you go and I said, let's do that for the song. So thank you again. Thank you so much, Matt, for watching. Appreciate it, as we're live. But this episode will be available to watch later on. And I hope everybody has a super safe, happy Halloween. Hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Yes, I had a blast this weekend. Thank you.
And from us here, we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. See you next time. I think it was good.